This was eye-opening. I mean, it's like something I've never seen before. You know, poker, people think about all this like meta game and all this game theory stuff, but that's basically a bunch of bullshit. What it really comes down to is like, I mean, you got to know who you're dealing with, and he'll tell you right off the bat. He's like, "Hi, my name's Chris."
It's funny, isn't it? Life. Just when you think you've got it all worked out, God moves the goalposts. Before long, you're standing there with the ball in the back of your net thinking, is he allowed to do that? In a perfect world, of course, God would get a stiff fine from FIFA and a 1-year ban. But that's just not the way the cookie breaks into small chunks. Injustice and below EV outcomes are commonplace in today's society. I mean, just look at the Iraq War, or even worse, the Jonas Brothers. Talking of noise pollution, pop star Ronan Keating of Boyzone once said, "Life is a roller coaster, you've just got to ride it." You know, he's kind of right, but it's a bit of a tired analogy. I prefer life is like a box of chocolates, when you fucking hate chocolates. Poker really is a microcosm of life. Maybe you feel that as a player, the roller coaster you're riding has more downs than ups. Maybe you feel that every time you reach for a chocolate, it's not in fact a chocolate, it's a cat stropping. Don't worry, my new friends of substandard poker ability. Millions upon millions of poker players the earth over have shared this same feeling. It's a feeling or state that I call being a loser. And you'll find it in my list of states, in my State the Obvious section. Working through this is an essential exercise in understanding and accepting where you are as a poker player and as a poker person at this stage in time. So, let's jump right into this and let us all state the obvious.
Being honest in life is one of the toughest things to do. It doesn't matter if you habitually lie to other people as long as you're honest with yourself. The sooner you come to terms with the fact that you as a person mean and amount to nothing of any remote significance, the better. Reminding yourself of this fact kind of takes the edge off getting your aces cracked at no limit 50 cents a dollar. As a serious poker player, you should always strive to win more money than any other poker player out there. After all, the player that wins the most is the best. The top spot is filled, but there is an opening at number 2. Like some useless drunkard attempting an AA meeting for the first time, it's important that you can stand up and admit that you sometimes walk away from the poker table a loser. After all, half the battle is admitting you have a problem, and the other half is stopping being such a fucking fish. No Limit Poker is a game of set parameters. At any one time, there are only so many actions you can take against so many players, and in return, there are only so many actions that they can take against you. There is also a fixed 52 cards in the deck, and on each betting round, everybody can bet everything they have in front of them. Now, when you spell it out like that, if you don't know what the correct play is every single time, you're a bit retarded now, aren't you? Embracing these words and making them part of your everyday language at this point in your education is key. Instead of saying, "Hi, how are you?" start to say your new phrase. People will admire your honesty, assume you have learning difficulties, and then leave you alone. The joke is on them though, because you're not learning disabled at all. Well, you might be a bit. Statistically, some of you will be dyslexic or have a lazy eye.
Hello, my name is Chris Olaafson, and I'm about to save your life. I know, it's a bit of a big statement that, isn't it? And it's not entirely true. The hello and introduction were genuine, but you're still going to die. Every single one of you. I'm sorry if that disappoints anybody straight off the bat. The good news, however, is that when you do die, you're going to leave the corpse behind of an exceptionally well-trained poker player. Let's hope there's a cash game in heaven, huh? Listen, I don't believe in talking waffle, so let's just get straight to the gritty-nitty. To do this, you're going to have to take part in what Chris Olaafson calls the handover. Although it sounds a little bit like you're going to be abducted by aliens and then extensively experimented on with no anesthesia, the handover is quite a normal process, and it's something that all of my very special students must go through. It's the process where you transfer me your old underachieving self, and I turn you around, I reshape, and I remold you from a virgin state. Now seems like quite a good time to hear from one of my favorite students. This fine young man talks to my camera team about the first time he ever remembers hearing the words, "Hi, my name is Chris Olaafson," and about his journey from then on in.
You're Sean Deeb, the
Sean Deep, a very famous online poker player, now a very famous live poker player. But there was a time before when you were an absolute nobody. Where did we meet, Sean?
Oh, it was back in '05 when I was a tour guide on Maid of the Mist in Niagara Falls, and all of a sudden you showed up, Chris, with a gaggle of beautiful Asian women.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I knew that day that you were going to be one of the players that I would look back at and say, yes, he was one of my big boys. Tell me a little bit about how you got started playing online poker after you met Chris Olaafson, otherwise known as me.
I was grinding away, losing all my lunch money, and thanks to your great advice and your wisdom, I was able to turn around, become one of the top online players. I won Turning Leaderboard the exact year after I met you, and I won again the next year. And it was just your mindset and everything you taught me that I just played every day, and it helped me win.
And what did it feel like when you met me?
Basically, after I met you, I felt very warm in the front and very cold in the back.
You mentioned winning the tournament leaderboard. Sean, do you remember how we celebrated your victory in the tournament leaderboard that first year?
Yes, we flew on the private jet back to Sweden to hang out with some of your other students.
We went out for a smorgasbord of drinks. We drank vodka Red Bull all night. And we hung out with Hurra and Hiri, and we partied. And we really got to know each other in a social capacity there, Sean. A lot of the people that will be watching this will be about to undertake my Chris Olaafson's Up Your Ante. Tell everybody at home, into this camera here, what they can expect from lesson 1. Hello, my name is Chris Olaafson, and I'm about to save your life.
Well, basically what you can expect is to give away everything that you thought you knew about life. Give up all your possessions, give everything to Chris. I left all my old friends. They were all pieces of shit. They would never amount to anything. They were just living on the water, sucking in air, and you taught me how to really open my eyes and open my nose.
And I gave you friends on the internet. I took away all your friends in real life, and I gave you internet friends.
Do you realize how much easier it is to keep internet friends? You don't have to see them. You don't have to look at them. You don't even have to communicate with them. You can turn off your computer and your friends are gone.
Well, Sean, it's been an honor for Chris Olaafson. I don't say that very often, but you are one of my finest students, and it's great to see you after all this time. You've been locked in your childhood bedroom at your mother's house, making millions and millions of dollars, thanks to Chris Olaafson's guidance. There's only one thing that I think is left to say, and that is nothing.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, straight from the pony's mouth. Sean Deep used to be an embarrassment to all, and now look at him. What a beautiful, upstanding and wealthy young man. His father, Freddie, also a well-known professional poker player, can be very proud. Now it's your time to make your father proud. It's now your time to cut away the deadwood and clear space for a new sapling to grow. In order for you to undergo your handover experience, you need to call the Chris Olaafson 800 line that's appearing at the bottom of your screen right now. Just call it 1-800-HANDOVER. Calls are charged at the local rates and extra horrific charges will apply. That's 1-800-HANDOVER. Call now and let's turn this wankfest of a ball game round.